My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes in life, the weight you carry becomes so heavy that you start to wonder, where is Allah's help? Sometimes you're doing everything right, praying, making dua, staying away from sin, trying your best, and yet the storm doesn't seem to pass, the sadness doesn't seem to lift, and the pain doesn't seem to end. And in those moments, shaitan whispers, you're alone. But let me tell you today with absolute certainty, you are not alone. You are never alone. Allah's help is not always loud, is not always dramatic. It doesn't always arrive in the form of miracles that stop the world. Often, His help is subtle, silent, and deeply personal. It arrives in ways you don't even notice. But if your heart is awake, you will see it. And the first sign that Allah is helping you, even when you feel like He's not, is when He grants you patience in your trial. You're hurting, yes. You're tired, yes. But somehow you're still standing. Somehow you're still breathing. Somehow you're still moving forward. That ability to endure, that strength you didn't think you had, that is Allah helping you. Don't underestimate it. People around you might break under less, but Allah placed in you a resilience that you didn't even know existed. He gave you the ability to hold on, not because the situation is easy, but because His help is holding you. You may not realize it yet, but that patience is not from you. That patience is from Him. And it is a sign that He has not left you. It is a sign that He is preparing you for something greater. It is a sign that He is with you, not against you. So don't let your pain convince you that you're abandoned. Instead, let your ability to survive that pain remind you that you are being protected, strengthened, and gently carried. And then comes the second sign. When Allah places in your path people who uplift you, people who speak the right words at the right time, people who hold your hand when you didn't even ask, people who remind you of your worth when you had forgotten it. This too is divine help. It's not random. It's not luck. That one friend who checked in just when you were about to break, that one message that made you cry because it felt like it was meant for you, that one stranger who smiled at you when your world was falling apart, these are not coincidences. These are Allah's gifts to your heart. These are signs that He sees your struggle, and He is sending comfort, not in the form of angels from the skies, but in the form of humans around you. And if you've experienced this, know that Allah is close. Because when He helps through means that you can feel, touch, and hold. Don't ignore the presence of good people in your life. Don't take for granted the ones who remind you of Allah when you forget, who encourage you to keep going when you want to give up, who guide you back to prayer when you've strayed. These people are not just blessings. They are living proof that Allah still cares, that He still wants ease for you, and that He is still involved in the details of your life. And when these people appear just as you're about to collapse, understand that's no accident. That is your Lord intervening gently, quietly, beautifully. And my brothers and sisters, the third sign, and this one is perhaps the most beautiful, is when you feel a strange, unexplainable peace in the middle of your storm. Everything around you is chaotic. The future is unclear. The pain is real. But deep inside, there's this quiet voice saying, it's going to be okay. That feeling is not weakness. It's not delusion. That's sakinah, the tranquility Allah places in your heart as a sign that He is near. When you experience this, even briefly, know that it's Him calming your soul. It's Him wrapping you in mercy. It's Him saying, I haven't forgotten you. Because no matter how intense the test, no matter how long the night, no matter how dry the well, if your heart still feels the whisper of hope, then Allah is helping you. That whisper, that breath of calm, that moment where you can breathe again, even while the problem still exists, that is divine mercy. That is divine reassurance. And not everyone gets to feel it. It is a gift. So if you've ever experienced that inner peace when everything else made no sense, then know that you are being looked after by the most kind, the most gentle, the most merciful. You may not see the full picture. You may not understand the wisdom, but that moment of calm, that tiny crack of light, that's your sign that He is helping you, even if the help doesn't come in the form you were expecting. And my beloved, never forget, Allah's help is not limited to what you can see. Sometimes His help is in what never happened, in the harm you were protected from, in the danger that passed without you knowing, in the betrayal that didn't reach you, in the loss that didn't come, in the mistake you were about to make, but He redirected your steps. So often we only thank Him for the blessings we see, but we forget the disasters we never knew about, because He removed them quietly, without applause, without announcement. And this too is one of the greatest signs of divine help, when your life feels ordinary, but only because Allah kept the chaos away. When you look back and realize that could have gone so much worse, that is help. That is divine protection. That is a sign that He is actively guarding you even when you're unaware. And that is the sign that He is actively guarding you even when you're unaware. So if today you feel safe, you feel stable, you feel protected in ways you can't explain, say Alhamdulillah. Because sometimes His help is not about solving a problem. It's about preventing one from reaching you in the first place. Sometimes Allah's help comes not in the form of comfort, but in the form of change. And the change doesn't always look like a blessing at first. It can look like a door closing, like a friendship ending, like a plan falling apart, like something you were counting on slipping through your fingers. But what you think is a loss may actually be a rescue, and what feels like rejection may actually be protection. Deep, 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 deep. Because the fourth sign that Allah is helping you, even when you don't realize it, is when He removes from your life something that was never good for you, even if you loved it. And yes, it hurts when you don't get the job. It hurts when the relationship ends. It hurts when the door you've been knocking on for years never opens. But behind that pain is wisdom. Behind that no is a better yes. Allah doesn't just give, He also takes away. Not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. You see, sometimes the greatest blessing is in the removal of something you were too attached to. Sometimes Allah is saying, you asked for peace, but I had to first take away the thing causing your chaos. And when you look back later, you'll realize that the heartbreak was the turning point, that the loss led to a breakthrough, that what you thought was an ending was actually a redirection. So trust Him when the doors close. Trust Him when the people leave. Trust Him when the plans fall apart. Because you don't know what He's saving you from. You don't know what burden He just lifted. And even when you cry, even when you don't understand, say, Ya Allah, I trust You more than I trust my feelings. Because that trust, that surrender, is a sign of faith. And Allah never lets a sincere heart go to waste. And then there's the fifth sign, the one that often comes later, after the dust has settled, after the pain has passed. It's when you look back on your trials and you can finally say, I see the lesson now. That wisdom, that growth, that maturity, that is divine help. That is Allah transforming your hardship into a source of strength, because He didn't put you through that for nothing. Every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered question, it all had a purpose. And now you're wiser, you're softer, You're more compassionate. You understand others better. You're more grounded. You've become someone who no longer crumbles under pressure. That growth didn't happen by accident. It happened because Allah was helping you all along, teaching you, shaping you, elevating you. And maybe at the time, you didn't feel helped. Maybe you felt abandoned. But now, look at who you've become. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've learned. That's not just experience. That's divine design. Allah wants to see you succeed in this life and the next. And sometimes that means allowing you to struggle a little so you can grow a lot. So the next time you go through something hard, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Try asking, what is this teaching me? Because the pain may last a moment, but the wisdom lasts a lifetime. And then comes a sixth sign, and it's one of the most underestimated signs of Allah's help. It's when He gives you the strength to forgive. Not because the person who hurt you apologized, not because they made it right, but because your heart is tired of carrying the weight. And somehow Allah puts within you the courage to let go, not for them, but for you. Lefty, 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 lefty. Because holding on to pain, to bitterness, to grudges, it drains the soul. It distracts you from your purpose. It chains you to the past. And real forgiveness is one of the most powerful forms of healing. It's a sign that Allah is elevating your heart, that He is helping you rise above the darkness, that He is not just solving your problems, but purifying your soul. And when you're finally able to say, I release this hurt, I leave it to Allah, you'll feel something beautiful, freedom, lightness, a new kind of peace. That doesn't mean you're weak. That doesn't mean what they did was okay. It means you've grown. It means you trust that justice belongs to Allah. It means you're more focused on your future than your past. And that strength to forgive, that clarity, is not something you gave yourself. It's something Allah placed in your heart as a gift, a shield, a healing. So if you've ever let go of something that once crushed you, know that you didn't do it alone. That was divine help, quietly uplifting you without making a sound. And finally, my brothers and sisters, there is a sign of Allah's help that often goes unnoticed, but it's one of the clearest signs that He is with you. It's when He pulls you back every time you slip. It's when He gives you guilt after a sin, not to punish you, but to guide you. If you suffer a sin, not to punish you, but to guide you. And let me just say that you can trust Him. When it says to be His cargo, to be His water, He puts you in post to be His cargo, to be His water. On the day it's when you start missing your prayers and something in you feels off. It's when you say something wrong and you feel regret. That inner discomfort, that spiritual restlessness, that's not your conscience alone. That's your Rab calling you back. That's His mercy wrapping around you even when you've strayed. Because if He didn't care, He would leave you to drift. But instead He keeps pulling you gently, silently, lovingly. He places reminders in your path, a speech, a post, a person that wakes you up just when you are slipping. He sends you moments of reflection when you're headed the wrong way. He allows your heart to ache, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants you to return. And that pull, that urge to repent, to reset, to reconnect, that is one of the greatest signs that Allah is still helping you. You may have forgotten Him, but He has never forgotten you. Every time you feel that nudge to do better, that's not just a feeling. That's divine love. That's divine hope. That's divine help. As we begin to reflect on everything we've explored so far, the patience you never thought you had, the support that came through unexpected people, the peace you felt in the middle of chaos, the doors that opened just after you nearly gave up, the harm that never reached you, the lessons buried in your struggles, the strength to forgive. I want you to understand something powerful. All of these are signs, but they are also gifts. They are signs that Allah is helping you, yes, but they are also gifts that shape you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more spiritually awake than ever before. They are not only signs that He is with you, but signs that He is invested in you. He is nurturing you, building you, elevating you through experiences that may not have glitter on the outside, but are full of light on the inside. And often, the greatest help from Allah is not in changing your situation, but in transforming you within that situation. Because when you grow stronger, when your heart becomes more resilient, when your soul becomes more attached to Him, that is the help, that is the miracle. And many times, the people around you won't see it. They'll think you're still in the same problem. They'll think nothing has changed. But you'll know deep down, you'll feel it, that something inside you has shifted, that your connection with Allah has deepened, that your ability to trust has strengthened, that your tongue now turns to dua more quickly, that your thoughts now lean more toward hope than despair. That is the subtle yet powerful effect of divine help. You see, Allah's help doesn't always arrive in the form of a rescue. Sometimes it arrives in the form of redirection. Direction. It is the form that you may be most comfortable, that your life is more fixed than fluid, and the form that God does not approve of. Given, it is the form that God does not approve of. Sometimes it arrives in the form of someone doing something really for you. In the sitting, you wanted something so badly, but He gently pushed you towards something better. You were chasing a path that looked good on the outside, but He knew it would harm you in the long run. So He sent delays, He sent blocks, He sent distractions. And maybe you were frustrated, maybe you felt ignored, but later you realize He saved you, not from the hardship of that path, but from losing yourself along it. That too is help. That too is mercy. And sometimes His help arrives in ways we never even label as help. When He gives you the wisdom to hold your tongue in an argument, when He prevents you from sending a message you would have regretted, when He keeps your eyes from seeing something that would have tempted you. These are small moments, but they carry huge spiritual weight. They are not coincidences. They are not your strength. They are divine interventions, quiet ones, that keep you on the right path. And the more you begin to see these moments for what they really are, the more your heart will fill with gratitude. You'll stop asking, why isn't Allah helping me? And start whispering, Ya Allah, thank you for helping me in ways I never even saw. That awareness, that shift in mindset is what changes everything. And the shift in mindset is what changes everything. Because when you begin to recognize His help, even in the smallest of moments, you become more content, more grounded, more spiritually aware. You start to rely on Him with a different kind of confidence. Not the confidence that everything will be easy, but the confidence that you will never be alone. And my brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful signs of divine help is that Allah brings you closer to people, places or words that wake up your soul, that reconnect you, that renew your faith. Maybe it's a lecture that touches your heart. Maybe it's a conversation that flips a switch inside you. Maybe it's a trip to the masjid after weeks of spiritual distance. Maybe it's hearing the adhan at the right moment. Maybe it's a single sentence that reminds you of who you really are. These moments, they don't just happen. They are invitations. They are gentle taps on the heart. They are conceptually intended to teach you about these moments. They don't just happen. They are invitations. They are gentle taps on the heart. They are Allah saying, come back. I haven't left. I'm still here and I still love you. If you've experienced that kind of awakening, even for a moment, then say Alhamdulillah, because that is help. That is divine mercy pouring over your life like rain. You didn't earn it. You didn't plan for it, but it came anyway. That is how Allah works. His help arrives not when you're perfect, but when you're real, when you're sincere, when you're broken but honest. When you say, Ya Allah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I need you. That moment of surrender, that deep, honest confession is what opens the door to help. Because Allah doesn't expect you to be flawless. He just expects you to turn to Him, to call out to Him, to place your hope in Him, even when your heart is heavy. And when you do start to see, you'll see the subtle signs, the quiet gifts, the unexpected ease, the softened heart, the delayed response that came at the perfect time. And you'll know, yes, Allah is helping me. Maybe not in the way I imagined, but in a way that is better, purer, and more lasting. And so, my beloved, as we continue this journey, as we reflect on the signs and the whispers, the people, the redirections, the moments of clarity, the peace that defies logic, the strength you didn't know you had, I want you to remember one thing. Help from Allah is always there. Always. But it often wears the cloak of silence. It often comes wrapped in patience. It often arrives hidden inside what looks like a trial. And if you train your heart to see beyond the surface, to look for the signs, to listen for the cues, then you'll never feel abandoned again. You'll start to live with this beautiful certainty that no matter how alone you feel, you are always being guided, always being protected, always being helped. And that belief, that level of trust, is not just comforting, it is life-changing. It is the beginning of a new relationship with your Lord, one based not on expectations, but on surrender, not on outcomes, but on connection. And the more connected you become, the more signs you'll start to see, not because they weren't there before, but because your heart is now tuned to the frequency of faith. So don't wait for the big miracle. Don't wait for the thunderous sign. Look at your life. Look at your journey. Look at your heart. And you'll see that He's been helping you all along. Now that we've traveled through these gentle reminders, these subtle signs, and these heartfelt truths, I want to end this journey with something you must never forget. Allah's help is not something you have to beg for endlessly. It is not something only for the pious or the perfect. It is not something locked behind impossible doors. Allah's help is already around you. It's already within you. It's already flowing through your life in ways you've never even noticed. That you woke up this morning, that was help. That your heart still beats, that is help. That you're listening to this right now, seeking closeness to your Rabb, that is help. You see, sometimes the greatest sign that Allah is helping you is the fact that you're still trying, you're still praying, you're still making dua, you're still fighting your nafs, you're still choosing hope over despair. Don't you see? That in itself is proof that He has not abandoned you. If He didn't care about you, your heart wouldn't even want to improve. But because He loves you, because He sees something beautiful in you, He keeps calling you back to Him. And every single step you take toward Him, He helps you take two more. This journey is not about being perfect. It's about being sincere. It's about trusting that even when everything seems quiet, even when there's no change in your external world, your internal world is being reshaped by His divine mercy. He is healing you in silence. He is growing you in the dark. And just like the seed buried deep in the earth, unseen by the world, you too are being nurtured, fed, and prepared for something greater. You may not see the fruits yet, but they're coming. And when they do, you will look back and realize that every unanswered dua, every delay, every night of tears, every moment of confusion, it was never punishment. It was preparation. And maybe right now you're in the middle of something heavy. Maybe you're asking yourself, where is the help? Maybe you're tired of waiting, tired of trusting, tired of hoping. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to cry. Even the Prophet, peace be upon him, cried when he was overwhelmed. Even he, the most beloved to Allah, faced moments of hardship so intense that only his deep connection with his Lord carried him through. So, what about you and me? If he went through pain and still held on, then surely we can too. And when you do feel weak, when your knees buckle under the pressure, just remember, Allah doesn't help those who never fall. He helps those who rise after every fall. He helps those who crawl back to Him even when they're broken. He helps those who whisper, Ya Allah, with trembling lips, even when they don't have the strength for long du'as. Don't think your tears go unnoticed. Don't think your silence is ignored. Even the moments when you can't speak, even that is a du'a. Allah understands every sigh, every breath, every beat of your heart. And when you ask Him for help, truly ask Him, He will never leave you empty. It may not be in the form you expected. It may not be in the time you hoped for. But it will come, because your Rabb is too merciful to ignore the call of a sincere heart. So what do we do, my beloved? How do we invite more of this help into our lives? We begin with honesty. We begin by saying, Ya Allah, I don't have the strength. Give me strength. I don't have the answers. Guide me. I don't have peace. Send me peace. That rawness, that vulnerability, that brokenness, it is beautiful in the sight of Allah. Because the more broken you are before people, the weaker you seem. But the more broken you are before Allah, the stronger your connection becomes. And that's the kind of help that changes everything. Even the strength, the kind of help that changes everything. The help that uplifts not just your situation, but your soul. The help that doesn't just move the mountain, but gives you the faith to climb it. And sometimes that's the miracle you needed all along. Not that your pain would vanish, but that your heart would become so full of trust that even pain feels manageable. That your soul would carry so much light, it shines through the darkness. That your faith would become so firm, storms can shake you, but never break you. This is what it means to be helped by Allah. It's not always about what changes around you, it's about what changes within you. And when your heart becomes deeply connected to Allah, when your eyes cry before Him, when your hands rise to Him, when your soul longs for Him, then even if the world misunderstands you, even if no one else supports you, you'll never feel abandoned, because the help of Allah is not limited. It is not late, it is not absent, it is always near, closer than you can imagine. So next time you feel lost, don't panic. Next time you feel weak, don't give up. Next time you feel unheard, remember, you are not talking to the world, you are talking to the one who created your voice, the one who sees what you hide, the one who knows what you don't say. And when you raise your hands in dua, you are raising them to the most merciful, the most loving, the one who has always been helping you in ways you saw and in ways you didn't. So take a deep breath, wipe your tears, and say with your heart, Ya Allah, I know you are helping me. I may not feel it all the time, but I trust you. I trust your plan. I trust your wisdom. I trust your mercy. And if you can say that, even in your pain, even in your waiting, even in your loneliness, then know without a doubt, you are being helped in the most beautiful, most powerful way. You are being helped by the one who never leaves, never forgets, never gives up on you. And that, my dear brother, my dear sister, that is the greatest sign of all.